Hi guys, my name is Jason Cyrus Mikolov and our topic for today is about evidence of evolution. What is evidence of evolution? Evidence of evolution is derived from a variety of scientific disciplines including paleontology, comparative anatomy, molecular biology, embryology, and genetics. These lines of evidence collectively support the theory of evolution, which proposes that species change over time through a process of descent with modification. Here are some key pieces of evidence for evolution. Fossil record. Fossils are preserved remains of organisms that lived in the past. The fossil record shows a clear progression of life forms from simpler to more complex over geological time. To interpret fossils accurately, we need to know how old they are. Fossils are often contained in rocks that build up in layers called strata, and the strata provide a sort of timeline, with layers near the top being newer and layers near the bottom being older. Transitional fossils are particularly significant because they exhibit characteristic intermediate between older and younger species. Examples include Archaeopteryx, a transitional form between reptiles and birds, and Tiktaalik, transitional forms between fish and amphibians. Homologous structures. Homologous structures are anatomical features found in different species that share common ancestor. These structures may have different function but are built upon a similar underlying skeletal or genetic blueprint. For example, the forelimbs of humans, bats, whales, and cats have similar bone structures, even though they are adapted for different purposes. If two or more species share an unique physical feature, such as a complex bone structure or a body plan, they may all have inherited this feature from a common ancestor. Physical features shared due to evolutionary history, a common ancestor, are said to be homologous. Vestigial organs. Vestigial organs are structures in organisms that have lost their original function through the course of evolution. These remains provide evidence of an organism's evolutionary history. For example, the human appendix is thought to be a vestige of a once functional structure in an ancestor of humans. Embryological development. Comparative embryology reveals similarities in the early stage of development among different species. This suggests a common ancestry and evolutionarily conserved development pathways. For instance, during embryonic development, fish, reptiles, birds, and mammals all have gill slits, even though only fish retain gills in adulthood. Molecular biology and genetics. DNA and genetic information provide strong evidence for evolution. Similarities in DNA sequence and genetic codes between species reflects their evolutionary relationship. At the most basic level, all living organisms share that all living things are descended from a common ancestor, and that this ancestor had DNA as its genetic material. Use the genetic code and express its genes by transcription and translation. In general, the more DNA difference in homologous genes between two species, the more distantly the species are related.